Hello everybody, it's Simon Hackney again, and I hope you'll paint with me today. I've been asked a lot about how do I achieve the cloud techniques that I do. People are struggling with this, I think, particularly in acrylic. So what we're going to do today, what it's going to be all about clouds, and we're going to do the piece on a piece of practice canvas, and I'll take you through the process from start to finish. Okay, what you can see in front of you there is a piece of practice canvas. Okay, so this is just a piece of canvas. It's already been primed with something. Now you can buy these from art shops, etc. I actually bought this one from SAA. So if you have a look online, SAA, they do some really good deals. If you join, you get discounts off your art materials and one thing and another. Okay, we're going to start by priming that. And I'm going to use a white acrylic primer. I'm just going to give this a shake up. Rightio, let's just grab a brush and we'll get some paint on that. Okay, this is the stuff. All right, this isn't the container it came in. It came in a tin. And this is literally just white decorators acrylic primer undercoat. The reason I put it in a jar is that if you keep it in the tin, as you take the lid on and off, it drops bits into the paint. So I'm just going to go over the whole canvas for this, because this is just going to be a practice canvas, so we could be painting anywhere on this. I don't know where it's going to be. I don't know what we're going to do exactly. All I know is there's going to be some clouds in it, and hopefully you'll be able to see the techniques that I use to do my clouds, or some of my clouds, because obviously there's an unlimited type of cloud that you can paint. So I hope this will help you when you come to paint your clouds. People tend to be able to do these easier with oil than they do with acrylic. That's certainly the case for me. Acrylic is quite a new medium for me. I haven't done much with it, to be honest. It's just a lot easier to do demonstrations with acrylic because of the drying and low odour and all of that stuff. There, so I'm just working that into the actual tooth of the canvas. And this is actually canvas, it is actually fabric canvas, so you could do this on anything. You could practice on anything, you know, you could use a decent pad. Particularly with acrylic, you don't have to worry too much. You could use a heavy paper, drawing paper, watercolour paper or something like that if you wish. I'll just allow that to dry. I've gone over it with a hairdryer and I've given it 5 minutes for it to dry properly. In the meantime, I've just put some paint in the palette, and all of this white down here is some of the primer that I used for this, mixed with probably about a teaspoon of the slow drying medium, which I'll show you in a second. And I've also put primary blue, turquoise and phthalo green in the palette, and that's what we're going to be working with today. First off, I want to get some of this soft white actually on the canvas area where we're going to be painting, and I'm just going to slap this onto the middle of the canvas, really, like so. Just scrub it about a bit so that we've got an area that we can work in. Right, okay. I'm just dipping the brush in a little of the turquoise. and I'm just going to actually brush this all over the area that's wet. Okay, I'm not being fussy about the edges here, obviously, because this is a practice piece and it's all about painting a cloud. So I'm not actually trying to do a finished painting, as it were. Just show you the technique. Okay, so far so good, I think. Into that, I'm just going to add a touch of the darker blue, and this is just primary blue, and I'm just spreading this all around while it's still wet. To give us some sort of sky effect type thing going on. A bit summery. Okay. This was the slow drying medium that I use. How am I finding it? Well, not too bad. I think you have to use a lot more of it than it actually says on the container. But what I've got here, okay, just a spray bottle, and I'm just going to give that a quick spray, and that should allow us to move the paint around a little bit more. Okay, there's only water in that. Should just allow us to keep it wet. Now, you know me, I love a bit of water, so I think from here somewhere we'll just have something a little watery, sea-like, whatever going on, and I'm just blending that down, really, not being too particular about it. It's nice to have the horizon straight. Normally, as you know if you've seen my videos, I would put some tape across there, and we would have a really nice straight horizon. Right, okay, that's not too shabby, I don't think. Most important with acrylic, try and keep your brushes clean, because I find it acrylic will dry on them in literally a couple of minutes, and once it's dry it's a sod to get off. Right, okay, we've got something happening there. Something, I don't know, I don't know what, but something that we can put a cloud on. So, with a fan brush, which, as you know, are always my favourites, I'm going to go back into some of that white mixture that we had. And I'm just going to start putting on here a cloud of some description. I'm being very loose with this, as you can see. I hope you can see these strokes. They're like little circular strokes that I'm doing. And then this will fade into the sky at the bottom. And now with a round hogshair brush, I'm just going to blend the bottom of this just here and there, so that it actually merges into the painting. It doesn't just look like a blob that's been painted on the canvas. A lot of the times you see people paint clouds and it looks like a blob that's just been painted on the canvas, and I'm going to try and teach you so that you can avoid that and make your clouds look more realistic. Right, while that's still wet, I'm going to take my softening brush, which you know I use all the time, and we're going to go into this cloud, and we're just going to fluff very gently, very, very gently, very gently, very gently, hardly touching the paint. We're going to fluff the top of this cloud. Like so. Now I hope you can see that. I hope that's coming across okay. Give these a wash, most important, as I said. I can't keep on about that too much. With acrylic, always wash your brushes straight away. Unless you're rich and you can afford to use brand new brushes each time. But I can't, so there we have it, you have to wash them. Right, so we've got a cloud there. Now, I think what we're going to do here is do a bit of a reflection. So I'm going to get the fan brush again, and roughly where the cloud is, down here somewhere, I'm going to put the rough shape. Hasn't got to be identical because you're on water after all. Okay, so we've got the rough shape of that cloud now down in the water. So obviously this is a very, very still, calm sea indeed. Right, and we're going to blend like we did the bottoms of the cloud. Now don't forget, this is in reverse, so it looks like I'm blending the top. Obviously it's a reflection of this. Okay, so we're going to just blend that bottom like that. Okay, going to fluff out the top. Which I know people will say, but you're doing the bottom. And it's because it's a mirror image. It would be the top of the cloud, in fact. Okay, that looks so. And then I'm going to get a slightly stiffer brush. I'm going to use just a flat brush. And I'm just going to see if I can pull that out a little bit and blend it into the canvas. Okay, how's that looking? Not too bad, I don't think. Maybe we'll have a little bit more of the white in the background here. I'll actually just go straight back in and blend that out, just so that it gives me a little lighter area off there in the distance. Okay, not too bad. So far so good. I like doing these demos on practice canvases. You know, you never know what you're going to end up with, and a lot of people say, well, you know, you've got a nice picture there and it's a waste now because you can't do anything with it. Well, what I tend to do is, if it turns into quite a nice picture, even though it's only a demonstration, I'll show you actually. I'll get a piece of 7x5 canvas board and I'll put it on the area that I like, draw around it, cut it out and put it in a frame. Put a mount on it and put it in a frame. So nothing's wasted. I mean, you know, if I went right out to the edges of this and did the whole painting and I liked it, I would just literally stick it to some backing board and stick it in a frame. You know, it's nothing's wasted with this. Right, into that I'm going to add some sort of little distant island or something going on. What colour should we use? Shall I put another colour in now? I think I will. How about yellow ochre? Yellow ochre's good. So I'm just adding a touch of yellow ochre to the palette. I'm just going to add a blend of blue, yellow ochre and the green. I might have to add some brown, we'll see. And here somewhere, just on the horizon, maybe there's something out there, like so. Okay, so some tissue. Now this is a very basic cloud that I've done here. Nothing too elaborate, nothing too tricky. Easy steps to start with, I think is the key to this. When you blend it, remember to leave areas of blue. Don't obliterate all of the blue and make it all one colour with the white, you know. You need to leave some of the dark in there to give the cloud some body, you know, to make it look more realistic. So don't, and the same here, you know, don't obliterate what you're trying to do, because this is how you end up with just a white blob, okay, like a ball of cotton wool on there or something like that, and we don't want that in a cloud. You know, clouds are vapour at the end of the day. I mean, they're water vapour, you know, by the very nature of them. They should be like this, you know, broken and wispy and what have you, you know. Right, well that's still wet. Let's have a muck around with that. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to get my flat brush, one of my flat brushes. I'm just going to grab that, grab the bottom of that and pull it down like so. Okay, can we see that? There. Pull that down now, like that, with a brush wash. While it's still damp, just run across that to soften it. Like so. And with our knife, I'm just going to put some titanium white in the palette, something a little bit thicker. This one is what I'm using. You'll notice that while I'm at it, that all of these paints, these are graduate acrylic. Okay, these aren't all singing or dancing paints, you know, they're not the top of the range by any means. I do use better paints. I mean, obviously, you know, I use Winsor & Newton and what have you. And very occasionally, if I'm finding it difficult to mix a colour, I'll go mad and buy a top of the range 4-star tube. But then you're talking silly money where you're paying like £15 or something like that for a tiny little tube of paint. To learn to paint and to have perfectly acceptable paintings to sell, a lot of the time you can use, you know, the less expensive paints, the student series and what have you. They're perfectly fine. With my oils, when I use oil paints, I tend with the oils to use more professional paints because obviously they're much bigger pieces and you want the longevity really. Right, I've got a little roll of paint on the edge of the knife, and what we're going to do, we're going to find roughly where the horizon would be, across there, and we're just going to carry that through to the edge of our island, there, the edge of our land mass. Okay, and by doing that, it's immediately pushed that off into the distance and brought the two together so that you can see it's actually a piece of water now separated from the sky. And you know how I love to paint water, so no excuses. I have to hold my hand up. I just love it. I'm going to take a little bit more on the knife, just a touch. And through here, we're just going to bring a couple of quiet ripples happening, like so. Maybe one more. Across our cloud there. Alright, very tropical looking, nice flat, calm sea, nice reflection. Shall I put a little something in the foreground? Shall I, shan't I, shall I, shan't I? I could do, why not? Why not? We're getting on with this one like a house on fire, as they say. Now ordinarily, if this was on a larger painting, oils or whatever it may be, and I was looking to put it in a gallery or sell it or whatever, I would go back in, I would do a lot more work with these ripples. Make them look a lot more realistic, put the fan brush in there and drag them away so that you get more realism to the picture. But just as a beginner's piece, I mean, this is perfectly acceptable. Okay, let's get a brush, get a flat brush like so. I'm just going to dip it in a bit of the yellow ochre and just bring something in from here, just the edge of the canvas. I mean, I'm going to brush it out lightly, let it just drag out into the water, like so. Right, so we've got some sort of little tiny beachy, foregroundy thing happening there. Okay. And that's just straight yellow ochre. As I say, this is all about technique. If it was a full-blown painting, as you know from my other videos, there'd be probably 3 or 4 colours on that brush. Right, I might just soften that a little bit, so give it a spray and just go back in with that same brush. and give it some sort of direction by pulling it down. Okay, not too bad. Now with another flat brush, there's another little trick that I can show you. Which one should we use? Quite a small one. This one. Okay, I've mixed up a greeny, bluey, turquoise type colour there with some yellow ochre. Oh, really what I've got on my palette. I'm going to add a touch of black just to bring it down so it's like a grey, more of a grey, a greeny grey colour, very dark green. Let's have a look. That'll work. Give the brush a wipe. Give it a wash actually. And give it a wipe. I'm just wiping it on some tissue now to get that paint off. Right, I'm going to run one side of the brush through this colour that I've mixed. There, plenty of paint on. And the other side through some white. So we've got white. Okay, so I've run this side through the white, the other side of the brush through that dark green. So we've got dark colour one side, light colour the other. Okay. And what I'm going to do is down here, I'm going to paint just one or two stones. And these are like just one stroke, look. One stroke, easy pebbles, there we go. One stroke. Okay, can you see that? And that's doing the shadow and the light area all at the same time. Alright, so what do you think? Easy technique? I think so. Fairly easy. Any questions? Just leave a comment below. If anyone finds they can't comment, then you'll need to actually log into YouTube. So go on there with your email address and log in, and you'll be able to leave comments below. If you like these, of course, then please hit the like button. Really important to me. It does me a lot of favours, that. And subscribe, of course, you know, subscribe, because these will be coming out every week. You know, we'll be doing something, maybe a couple of weeks, you know, who knows, we'll be doing something. And that's it. That's the demo for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope there's a couple of little tips on there that you'll be able to use. Okay, thank you very much. As an afterthought, I thought that I would add a bit more light to the actual picture. So what I'm doing here, I've actually gone back in with a fan brush. This is just a dry fan brush, and I'm drawing the still wet white paint that I put on there with a knife. I'm just drawing it down the canvas a little bit and blending across. And from there I actually go into some more of the very liquid white I used at the beginning. Put a bit on the fan brush. I'm wiping it off on a paper towel so that it doesn't go onto the canvas too heavily and obliterate everything. And I'm just going to actually brush a little bit of light here down across the water. Just gives a little bit more light coming from the sky, as it were. And also I'm going to bring a little bit down onto the sand. I hope if you like these you'll subscribe, and I hope you paint along with me and go to my website, have a look, go to my Facebook page and have a look, give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing your work and painting with you again. All my very best, and thanks for watching.